back to the games real quick.
There's a little Reebok pump next to his balls. He just goes.
What do you think the excuse is going to be for these failures with the video games? Because they'll never take accountability. They'll never acknowledge the actual reason.
I can tell you based on what I've been told.
I was just gonna say, like, in 10 days, you have like Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is gonna come out.
Oh, I can't wait.
Dude, that game's going to be insane, right? Like, everyone's going to want to fucking play that game. So they're going to say, like, the video game industry is dying and people don't want to buy video games. It's like, that game's probably going to do fucking gangbusters. Like,
yeah, I actually bought the Ultimate Edition for that one because I want all the DLCs anyway. So it's like, well, okay, well, I'll just get the Ultimate Edition.
What'll happen?
I'll be streaming that game.
The studios that make games like Space Marine 2 and the people that have come out and said what they've said about Space Marine 2 that have worked on the game, those are the ones that will succeed. And the ones like Ubisoft that just keep making garbage DEI projects and wasting money and wasting years will eventually die out. That's the only...
I can tell you with confidence what I know. I can tell you with confidence that the Saber team, the people that made Space Marine 2, they think that the majority of the industry on the low key, they think they're all fucking insane and they want like nothing to do with them pretty much.
That's what I was laughing at. I'm sorry.
Oliver, I gotta look
D-Man looks like a trans Oliver Platt.
Let me look it up.
And then he doesn't even know who Oliver Platt is. What kind of fucking geek are you?
I just looked it up. No. I will admit, I do look a little bit like Oliver Platt. I don't know.
He's one of the Three Musketeers. Jesus Christ!
The reason why I'm asking
if Oliver Platt had facial hair,
like the reason why I'm asking is because when it comes to like the failure with Marvel, right? They can use that bullshit superhero fatigue excuse because for the most part,
what's superhero fatigue? The Penguin just topped all of the ratings.
That's the Sopranos.
Doesn't matter. Hold on. It doesn't matter. He's still part of a superhero universe.
Kind of like how Joker was too.
All right, let me rephrase it then. So we'll get really technical. Comic book movie, comic book show. It's a comic book show.
You know what?
And it's number one.
Exactly. That's it, Flash. It doesn't matter what it is. It doesn't matter if it's superhero adjacent, comic book adjacent. It dominated this week in the United States, which is the market of all markets when it comes to ad. Exactly. When it comes to ad revenue, it kicked the shit. And I mean, kicked the shit out of Lord of the Rings, Rings of Power.
Can I say one thing before we get too deep on that about though?
There. Yeah,
I think it's indicative more so that people want classic entertainment. This is what Yellowstone, this is what mobster shows like this and Tulsa King are like. I think that has more to do with it than the fact that it's Penguin. Yeah. I think Penguin is secondary.
It's actually somebody that's telling a good, compelling story with good characters.
Yeah, how many people here have watched the show?
I haven't. Awesome.
I haven't tuned in yet, but I can tell you the headline for this is already wrong.
House of the Dragon.
I know. I just grabbed this one.
Yeah, I don't think it's.
I'm just saying.
Ratings than House of Dragon.
The Penguin did not destroy "quote unquote" House of the Dragon. It didn't get close to House of the Dragon. I don't know. I'm interested to see how badly researched this article is.
But I still think that Penguin's been like it's.
I think he's going off of Samba TV numbers. Does he even mention it? I didn't read the article. I just wanted to leave it up while we talk about it.
The reason why I was bringing it up when it comes to movies and video games is when it comes to specific like the superhero.
Hold
movies,
on a second.
Yeah.
Let me. Via Samba TV, it's revealed a whopping 3.2 million households watched the first episode of The Penguin in its first 4 days. This follows 4.1 million households watching The Batman in its first week on the Max streaming service. For comparison, The House of the Dragon Season 2 premiere on Max was watched by 50% less viewers in its first day than the 2.6 million households that tuned in for Season 1.
What?
Went on to have 4.8 million in its first 4 days.
How does that worse than that makes no sense?
I don't know.
Yeah, that no.
I
Here's
think
the
they
thing.
were just chasing a headline there.
Warner Brothers actually, and look, God bless Samba TV, and I've always said.
But I'm constantly told that Warner Brothers is going down in flames. I don't know what they're talking about.
Yeah, I don't either.
There's always doom headlines for Warner all the time.
Samba TV is only good if you compare their numbers that
all right, well, let's just take House of the Dragon out of the equation.
TV. Yeah,
it did better than The Acolyte and Rings of Power.
Huge.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure. And it's a good show.
5.3 million views.
And it would be
I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a good kind of mob take on a Batman character, and there was a lot of tension. The entire episode is just full of tension. Like, you really want to see where this goes. Penguin comes off as pretty likable, which is crazy to do. He's honestly not one of the biggest villains in his rogues gallery, but I really enjoyed the episode. I know that probably pisses Tom off because Tom has a raging hate boner for the Batman. Raging hate boner.
Look, it's two things. Yes, I hate the fucking Batman. I think it's stupid. And as far as being an extension of that, yeah, I don't care for this show. I don't give a shit. But I think it's hilarious watching it be successful when there's always doom and gloom for Zaslav. It's like I've literally compared him to Trump in Hollywood. Nothing he does gets any like he does stuff and it's like the end of the world. Disney just dumped a bunch more shows quietly. Nobody said shit. But yet he's constantly getting shit for the Snyderverse stuff, for the Batgirl stuff.
Well, that's just because the Snyderverse people are kind of retarded.
Well, no, but have you seen the animation freaks go after him over the stupid Acme movie? And it's like everything I've heard from everybody who's seen it.
It's a
says
shitty
they didn't
movie.
buy it because it sucked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But
they're so
like, those Snyderverse fans, man, they got to be some of the dumbest.
Oh,
a lot
psychotic.
of them are retards. Yeah, they're crazy. Like,
I remember
Netflix is going to buy it.
I remember seeing someone because recently James Gunn said that like one of his friends died from alcoholism, and then like one of those Snyder fans was like literally in his comments like, yeah, well, Snyderverse is still better than what you're doing, by the way. And it's like, bro, his friend just died. Like, are you being serious right now? Like,
not even remotely anything about
so like, shut up.
It's because
they're fucking unhinged. Oh, not all of them. I'll say not all of them, but there are some unhinged.
A large swath,
like a lot of unhinged Snyder fans. Fatal J will tell you the same thing, and he's a Snyder guy. So I mean, they just it's like, let's just let it go. It's over.
The thing is, though, just going back to the superhero fatigue stuff and everything, I don't think that's. I think people just want good stories, whether or not they're superheroes.
No.
There's garbage fatigue. That's what's going on.
Yeah, 100%. But it's the excuse that they use every single time. My point when it comes to video games, you can never say it about the video game industry, right? Like what you had the Sony PS5 Pro or whatever, like for fucking $700 selling. People are playing video games like crazy right now. So when you have these giant AAA titles constantly fucking failing, and then you have Black Myth Wukong, it's gonna do it did insane. You're gonna have that Dragon Ball game come out, it's gonna do insane. You can never use that argument with video games. So I really like, what are they going to try to cope with? You can't
honestly
incel fucking.
I would argue that if they don't do something soon, that they're in worse shape than Hollywood, because Hollywood can turn quicker than games can.
That's true.
Games have already had 2 deaths basically.
Games suffer that you have a long production cycle, and like movies and shows can kind of just turn a lot faster.
You're right.
They take a lot less time to make.
10 years and $800 million. That's what it takes.
You're right that people will invest in a new system or a new way of playing old games. I'm not going to lie to you there. And you could say the same about films, right? And there's actually been a lot, and this is where I've been getting on some of the physical media people lately, is like there's a whole new revolution going on right now where disc related material is up by like 200-300% from the last couple of years. Like DVD is up, CDs are outselling like MP3s for the first time ever since like way back when. Like people are getting back into physical media because they're learning very quickly that they don't own this shit when it comes to digital.
Yeah, I just bought,
it can get taken away anytime.
I just bought 2 records yesterday. I bought the One Piece Netflix soundtrack and the Batman.
Well, that's my point. I think this is going beyond. Yeah, I think this is going beyond just the collectability factor, the kids getting into vinyl and all that shit. I think people are really starting to learn this. In fact, I think even California is supposed to be pushing through some sort of law to have it where they have. Yeah, which is
so the law is
something smart. Yeah,
the law is that they have to be upfront with you that when you buy a digital game, you don't own it. You're licensing it. And actually, for once, I gotta say, I'm with California on this one. I think that's a good law. I think people people should be told you don't own this.
Because somebody tried suing Amazon over that and lost.
Yeah, that's crazy.
So yeah, this law would help you win if you were to turn around and sue them again, basically, because I don't know if they can be sued again over it, but
B-Rad right here has it right with the Penguin. It's solid and it's getting good word of mouth. That's what's helping this show. Like, I bet you the ratings
HBO knows
how
to make a prestige show. They've been doing it since way back with The Sopranos and shit. So,
which is literally what Penguin is, pretty much. At this point.
Which is what
it's
I was
literally
saying. I think
kind of like Sopranos with the Penguin.
I think there is a bit to say about the comic book fatigue thing, because we're at a point now where you can't just throw out anything that's comic book related and people will go see it again. Right, we're like back where we were in the late 90s, where we're getting back to the Spawn and other stuff that people just rejected. Like, look at The Crow and some of the other comic book movies that have come out recently. People are just
Hellboy's going straight to
Hellboy's going straight to video for that reason. Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, that never went to the theaters?
No,
it's not coming to theaters now. Yeah, they're bypassing theaters and it's going straight to
clearly. They know there's no demand for it.
Yeah, it looks pretty low budget. I think Hellboy fans will probably like it though. So we'll see. What Gary's going to see it, and he's a huge Hellboy fan. I'm curious to what his take on this.
5 years ago, it would have been in theaters. That's my point. Just like that crappy remake was.
Oh yeah.
So we've hit this point where a comic book anything isn't a guarantee. And I feel like this is more like the Joker again, where it's more like in spite of the comic book factor, it's doing well. I think that's probably the second or third.
Well, also too, the thing is with the Penguin is it's getting good word of mouth from people that are.
You got Colin Farrell and his performance. You've got the gangster element to it. It's an adult show. It's not for kids.
Yeah, people keep talking about Gotham is a fucking sitcom, like.
Yeah, but it was the same fucking storyline. That's
but it's a lot more childish compared to this show.
Fair. Yeah, I'm not arguing that point.
I don't like Gotham was like CW Sopranos. I fucking hated that show.
I didn't like Gotham at all.
Didn't like it at all.
Started out okay. It's just after the first few episodes, it goes fucking off the rails so fast.
I mean, I did not like what I saw with Gotham. I thought it was stupid. I didn't like all the kid versions of the characters. This is what I like. This is more up my alley, this Penguin show. So hopefully it remains good. We're only one episode
say this.
deep,
I'll take the moment because somebody went and tried to bank it on this whole idea that somehow Batman is tied up in some kind of legal wrangling where he can't be in TV and live action. That's bullshit. Don't believe it. Why in the world would a 60-year-old contract still be in effect that they never did anything with?
Oh, I saw that. That was with ABC's
no fucking sense. Exactly.
1960s
so
Batman.
Stupid.
Yeah, that's not.
The only thing that held that up for so long was the fact that Fox just happened to own that TV show and they didn't own the rights to Batman, so they really couldn't do anything with it. And I heard what held up the thing longer than anything was the fucking music rights, and that's it for the theme song. That's what I heard held it up more than anything. But anyway, Warner Brothers owns the
They don't want to do. I could, without even knowing what's going on with any of the legal shit, I can tell you why they don't want to do a Batman show. They don't want to do a Batman show because they're afraid that it'll bring down the prestige of the character to have him on a TV show, which is stupid.
There was,
anything, a Batman TV. We talked about this yesterday in FNT.
Yeah,
a Batman TV show is where the character would shine the best.
It would, but you're right. Yeah. There has been this, I don't know if it's unsaid rule or said rule within Warner Brothers for years that there's like the top 5 superheroes are not allowed to be on TV. They finally broke that rule with Superman, but that was just because they couldn't get Superman to work on the big screen, right?
That Superman show was pretty solid.
But if you notice that they won't allow certain characters to go on TV very often, and if they do, they're in very cameos or obscured versions of them. Because Batman's been on television a few times. Yeah. I don't know where these people are getting this crap from. It's just a matter of, you're right. Warner Brothers has mandated, even during Smallville, they weren't allowed to technically have Superman. That's why they were playing that fucking game for so long, because they wouldn't let him use Superman on TV. So yeah, it's just a stupid, it makes absolutely no sense. Because not only that, Warner Brothers produced that thing, and this is one thing they always keep overlooking. There was a thing in the 70s that was a pilot for a TV show that was going to be like a de facto Super Friends live action show. Some of y'all may know what I'm talking about. Warner Brothers produced that, and they had Adam West and Burt Ward as Batman in that show. So how could that be if they couldn't use them without licensing them? It makes absolutely no sense.
So let me address this from
anyway.
Tom Barry Masta. That's different. For some reason, they're okay with the animation stuff, but live action is a whole different beast. They think that that's going to destroy it. And it's ironic, too, because Batman, the animated series, helped make that character more popular than
and one of the first conversations Gary and I ever had was about that. If they did a live action Batman series, it'd be the biggest show ever. Look, I mean,
you have the blueprint right here with the animated series. I mean, that show is the best. Is the best media representation of Batman ever done.
Two very
captures the character
contracts.
to a T.
The big problem
the show revolved around. Go ahead. What'd you say, Arch?
The big problem there is whether or not you could possibly get away with a project like that today. Like, could it be great? Yes. But we just got Caped Crusader, which demonstrated every problem of modern day DEI practically ever. I feel as if a live action version would only exacerbate most of that, honestly.
Rooftop Karen calling you out, Tom.
I'm not gonna watch. Why should I? I'm waiting for the fucking bottom. I'm waiting for the fucking bottom to drop out of the show anyway. Because as you guys just pointed out, who's behind this show? Matt Reeves, who made the wokest fucking Batman movie in the world, where you literally have every white person in the movie being told to do better or
into trashing Batman.
You brought it up, and he's the guy who just made the fucking cartoon show that you're talking about and griping with his butt buddy JJ.
I didn't watch the show.
I'm just telling y'all,
fucking Batman.
He's the guy that made the Penguin a lesbian.
Yeah,
he was a producer on that fucking cartoon. Yes.
Oh wow,
that was dope.